Let's pray. Vakratunda Mahakaya, Vakratunda Mahakaya, Koti Surya Samaprabha, Koti Surya Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kurume Deva, Nirvignam Kurume Deva, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsachanuramardanam, Kamsachanuramardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagadguru, Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Om Sahana Vavatu, Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us all and also inspire us to enjoy the divine beauty that is present in each and every one of us and around us. May we study together as a close-knit family. May we study very hard and our studies become enlightening and take away the darkness of ignorance. May we love one another and never fight. Peace, peace unto us all. Today, This is Sarvadhari Samvatsar, Uttarayan, Shishirrutu, Magha Shukla Chaturdashi. Coming week on 12th on Thursday is Sankashta Chaturthi. This evening we will have a special Satyanarayan Puja and Valli Kalyanam. And if you want to see the Mars or Jupiter, you can see it on the eastern horizon. Venus, of course, you can see in the middle of the sky all the time. You may have seen lots of different quotations, but the original quotation is way back in Sanskrit literature, which says, Acharya Padamadatte Padam Shishya Somedaya Padam Sap Brahmacharibhya Padam Kala Kramenacha. A student gets 1/4 of his knowledge from the teacher, 1/4 from his own thinking through the process of reflection, meditation and inspiration, 1/4 from the fellow students during the discussions and dialogues or serious discussion in the social setting, what we call Vada, and 1/4 through the life experiences in due course of time. Now when we talk about Vada, there are different kinds of dialogues. Vada is a very healthy discussion, though it has been given a bad name. There are two equals discussing with mutual respect. It could be a cup of tea or a glass of wine, a glass of milk, whatever. Both individuals are interested in understanding, learning from one another, and through that process growing. So that's the correct meaning of Vada. Different kind of dialogue is called Jalpa. Jalpa means an unhealthy dialogue between two individuals who already are committed to one viewpoint, totally convinced of a particular belief, and totally convinced during the discussion that the other person is totally wrong. You can see that in Washington sometimes. And the different kind of dialogue is called Vitanda Vaad. Vaad, good conversation. Jalpa means other person is convinced that the other person is totally wrong. And Vitanda Vaad is when a person is committed to disagreeing with that person regardless what he says. Just because somebody said something, I'm going to say exactly opposite. It's called Vitanda Vaad. I have personal experience with some of the teachers myself that way, but that was his way of teaching me. Vitanda Vaad. And the other dialogue is called Guru-Shishya Sam-Vaad. Sam-Vaad comes from Sam and Vaad. Sam means good. The disciple has accepted the other individual as a teacher, Guru and Shishya. And if the disciple does not understand what the teacher is saying, the disciple gives the benefit of doubt to the teacher, not the teacher is saying something wrong, but I have not understood what the teacher has said. Even the contradictory statements, which we discussed a couple of them last time, we recognize that it was seemingly different. So the question that Arjuna says, Vyamishrevena Vakyena, seemingly contradictory statements that you are making, can you clarify it to me? That Arjuna asked Sri Krishna. And one of the examples that we discussed briefly last time was, Shruti says, talking about Brahman, that Brahman cannot be objectified by the mind, and that Brahman has to be recognized by the mind. It cannot be objectified, but has to be recognized by the mind. They seem seemingly contradictory, but as we go along, you realize what exactly Sri Krishna is teaching us. Other example that we talked about is Brahman is nirguna, without any qualities, nirguna. And you'll see Sri Krishna, while describing it, he describes various qualities of Brahman as if Brahman is saguna. That seems seemingly contradictory, but as we go along, we'll see it is not a contradictory statement at all, but for a disciple who is not able to get a complete picture of the Shrutis, appears contradictory. But again, the Shishya gives that benefit of doubt to the teacher. When I get the whole picture in my mind, just like this teacher has it, they would not appear contradictory at all. How do you find a good teacher? Whether he has to be grey-colored hair, a long beard which is completely grayed out, whether he has to be a sannyasi, whether he has to be karma yogi. But most of the teachers in our shastras have been grihasti or karma yogis. Very few teachers are sannyasis. And two examples which I mentioned to you was Sanat Kumar, who taught Narada, and Shuka, who taught Janamedya. Now, teacher has to be somebody who is knowledgeable. He has to be well-read. And the word for that in Sanskrit called Shotriya. Shotriya. There are sa, sha, sha, sha. This is not sha, Kshotriya. He also has to be Brahmanishta. That means he should be completely immersed in Brahman. That means he should be completely secure and confident of the subject matter. And he is no longer seeking any kind of security or recognition through that process. He should be completely confident and secure with himself or herself. So he has to be Kshotriya and Brahmanishta. That teacher should be well informed, but also should have unique qualities of capacity to communicate. Last but not the least, he or she should be committed to teach, and that should be his primary pursuit in life at that stage. And the attitude of a good student or a disciple is to keep the eyes and ears open and ask good questions. The teaching that we're going to follow, our teacher this time is going to be Sri Krishna. Whatever he has taught in Gita, that's what we're going to use as our teacher. And we'll follow each one of his sentence with meticulous detail, and we'll have an interchange of discussions, questions, and answers. And as I mentioned to you, the subject matter that we're going to study is Siddha Jnana. That means already accomplished, and only thing what we have to do is to understand the established knowledge. That means we have to open our eyes, just like the example I gave you of the patient who had the surgery on the eye. The surgeon knows that he can see, but he cannot say till the time person himself or herself opens the eyes and able to see with his or her own eyes that he can see. He can assure him, but that's all he can do. Gita and Jagadguru Sri Krishna that we're going to use as our teacher is a mirror of words, I call it. Wherein, once we understand the meaning of those words, we can see ourselves clearly. And that's what I'm talking about, vision. You're standing in front of a mirror of words in the form of Gita, given by magnificent teacher Sri Krishna. And once we understand the meaning of those words, and we look straight ahead, we are able to see it very clearly. What we're going to do is, classic description of a teacher is Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmat Acharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. That's what the system is. But we are not going to go to the Asmat Acharya. We are going to go to directly Sadashiva. We are going to go directly use Sri Krishna as our teacher.